You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files with hosts Dennis Mays and Tyler Stewart. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify or YouTube so you never miss an episode. Now, to our show.
Something that would be in the context of the supernatural.
He described it as being a gray, silver-looking, upright bipedal creature, dragging a deer out of that cave going up the hill.
Where he goes, hey, I got a question for you. He goes, do you believe in demons?
And it takes one big step and vanishes. I'm like, oh my God, that was a Bigfoot.
And look at these pictures of this white creature.
Something 7'3" to 8 foot tall.
Right.
That, let's say it like.
And I'll tell you right now, if this was a bear, then this bear was standing on his hind legs, and he was running like a man. No, this wasn't no bear.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was a dog man.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Kentucky X-Files podcast. Me and Tyler are here. Little unorthodox intro this time because we have a good friend of ours. And he is a... Well, why don't you tell him, Landis? What is your law enforcement background?
Currently I'm the Chief of Police of Ladonia. I've been there since November of 2020. Before that I was a 911 dispatcher for 9 years. Before that, I was a police officer, another small town, for about 9 years. Before that, I worked in a jail as a sergeant for about 3 years. So basically, since I was 18 years old, 37 now, been in law enforcement the whole time.
It sounds like you've been law enforcement more than civilian life.
Right.
All right, so we wanted to get you on here with us because we are in an investigation also, which you may laugh at, but we've sort of been sucked into the crusade to figure out if Bigfoot's actually out there or if it's the biggest hoax ever pulled off. So getting your opinions is it's a really big deal for us.
Yeah, so
Glad to be here.
so with just that being said, what is your opinion on the whole thing? Do you believe? Do you don't believe? Everybody leans some kind of way.
I definitely think it's possible that it could exist. I think also that if it did exist, that there would be some kind of proof shown by now that can't be argued.
Okay, for anybody following along at home, what we did was we let Landis hear the Bigfoot 411 alleged 911 call. And we wanted him to hear it, just get his take on it. And I can play a little bit of it here. It'll record onto the podcast, but I won't play the whole thing.
911, what are you reporting?
With someone or something crawling around out here.
A person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is my central light came on and I just happened to glance and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man. Or something that looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just that it ran across the yard. Jesus Christ, you better... See ya!
Hello?
Get somebody out there.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
You see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he in your yard?
He's looking big.
Okay, so you get the gist. So Landis, you heard the call, and you're saying that the protocol of the dispatcher is all wrong.
Yeah, completely wrong from the very beginning.
Okay, so that's based on that. You're leaning towards this is a bunch of bull.
Yeah, if I think unless it's been completely edited, there's no way for that to be an effective way of doing a job as a dispatcher, and a dispatcher would know that. If a dispatcher knows that they're doing it wrong, that video or recording wouldn't have been leaked out, or however it came into somebody's possession, because it's basically embarrassing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but I haven't heard it in a while, but I thought it actually starts out with them actually answering the phone. So, how I don't know how you would edit that. Like, how did she say it? Like, what was the first line that she said?
She said, 911, what are you reporting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if that's so, I've like heard countless. Like I just told you, I even typed in 911 calls. Most of them that are, I guess, like you'd see on your news channel, they always say, they might not say what are you reporting, but what is your emergency. Every single one. I've never, like, none of them like said that. Like how he's saying it. Like, I can understand what's the address of the emergency. They always say, what's the emergency? What are you reporting? None of them's ever said that in any of these 911 calls that I've ever looked up. So this is good. Like, I'm glad that you came on and told us this, because I was actually like believing that this could actually have some legitimacy to it, because the sound of the man was really, really profound. Like, he sounded like he was in some kind of trouble.
Okay, so I just found something interesting, Landis. So I'll get your take on this. I just found out the origin of that call is actually not from 2009. It's actually from the 90s, and it happened in Washington State. I don't know if that changes anything or what. But...
Like I said, like I told you earlier before we came on air, the basically the job of a 911 dispatcher would be to get the where the problem's happening. I don't care if it was from 1970 or today. The biggest, fastest, most important priority is to find out where this call's coming from, because at any time they could hang up, get disconnected, or get killed. And if you don't have a place to send any kind of help, that call is worthless. So any type of training from any decade would be to drill in, where is this happening at? How can we get what kind of help, whatever it may be, to you?
Okay. So that's what I'm getting at. So the time period of the call doesn't even matter at this point. We know that the operator, it was either faked or the operator just wasn't doing the job. Well, wasn't doing the job correctly.
Right.
Okay, that's interesting. I wonder also why the date was edited for the movie. The original call, it says here, was a 911 call that happened in the mid-1990s at Kitsap Peninsula in Washington State. The audio came from a man who called 911 because he wanted someone to come out because he thought he had a Bigfoot in his yard. The man explained that the thing was big and black, and he also says in the call later that it was looking right at him. The police did eventually arrive, but did not see anything in his yard. A week later, the sheriff's office got a picture from the man of what was possibly maybe a Bigfoot in another person's backyard. But there's no 911 call, and that's not on record.
Yeah,
so that's kind of unfortunate.
I'd definitely be skeptical about the realism of all of it.
Yeah, it's interesting, that's for sure. And one thing we've noticed too is there's, when you go into this, which I mean, to be honest, 6 months ago, I'd occasionally watch a Bigfoot show on TV or something, just to pass time, but was never interested if I'm being honest, just not interested. I thought, no way. But I've learned a lot about the Bigfoot communities, the different. There's a bunch of different groups within the Bigfoot community that basically don't agree with everything, and there's some that think that it's like a spiritual creature. There's some people who are this is flesh and blood, and then I found another group when I was digging that attributed all of the mass amounts of disappearances in our major national parks possibly linked to the Sasquatch. Are you familiar at all with all of the disappearances? Like the crazy amount of disappearances?
I don't know any particular numbers or anything like that. I know that people going missing in the state parks is a pretty common occurrence. Just between getting lost and
Yeah.
things like that, where they
I know.
could pass away or.
Yeah. I noticed when I was digging into it, because I thought it was interesting, even without the linking Bigfoot to it, I thought, wow, it's crazy. The amount of disappearances, and it's all just concentrated to these little areas. Massive state parks. And the one thing that really popped up for me, well, a prominent thing was the missing 9/11 films. You've seen those at all, or are you familiar with them?
I haven't seen those. No.
Or missing 411. Sorry, it's basically he was an investigator, and he kind of went from working in law enforcement to basically spending his life just focused on this one thing, these national park disappearances. Some of the stories that he's collected are crazy. I mean, just crazy. And there's a big group of people that feel like there's something going on in these big parks, and there's something where 6 or 7 people go out together. They're not separated by much, and then one guy just vanishes, not a trace, nothing of his left behind, nothing. And then there's more reports of people who swear up and down there's Bigfoots banging on their houses and looking in their windows and stuff, and calling 911 and trying to get law enforcement out there. Did you ever get any weird calls while you were dispatching?
We did have bears in our, which we don't have a lot of bear in our area at all. And in the middle of one of our bigger towns, there's a bear going through somebody's trash. Or we'll get people on illegal drugs calling in saying that there's vampires attacking their cars. And
Right.
you hear all kinds of things, and what people can see. I do believe that people believe what they think they're seeing is real, but I can tell you in emergency situations and times of great stress, you're going to see things that aren't there. You're going to overestimate what you are seeing, and it's just common. I think it's kind of a defense mechanism that has been implanted in us since we've been around, and I think a lot of times it's almost everything can be explained to some point. As far as national or state parks, people going missing. I know in like Japan, the suicide rates in a lot of parks are just ridiculous because when people want to go in their life, they want to find a nice, peaceful place, and a lot of parks, national parks, are some of the most beautiful places in the country, and if they're going to go do it, that could be a reason why they choose that location to go disappear, and they leave nothing but a car parked in a parking lot, and that's have nothing else to go off of. But there's just a lot of possibilities that always doesn't revolve around mythical creatures or things that go bump in the night that might not be there. But I'm not saying it's not. But
yeah, we get you. Yeah, I noticed when I was looking through, I looked into your state quite a bit, and don't have a whole lot of Sasquatch reportings in your state. Not a lot.
in Missouri, there's I mean, I could see maybe down in like the Ozarks or something like that, but live on a flat plain that if they were here, they'd be seen.
Yeah.
They're not going to be hiding in the hills that we don't have, or
Right.
the cave systems we have. They're all tourist attractions. So basically,
Right.
if there's a good place for them to hide, there's people already there doing their own business. So
I noticed I didn't find Sasquatch sightings in your area. I found something else, which is something we've also discussed on the podcast. It looks like St. Louis County has a little bit of a record for dogman sightings.
and
Which
I will add on real quick that St. Louis County also has the highest drug use rate in the state.
gotcha. Okay. So we're probably chasing a dead end on that one, huh?
Right.
Oh,
I almost said chasing our tail, but I didn't want to.
oh God.
Pull a pun. Yeah.
To throw back onto the whole like the missing 411 and all that, all the strange like missing, I looked it up. On average, over 600,000 people go missing in America every year, and they say most of them are 95% are mostly runaways. Less than 8% or abductions with a non-custodial parent, but 1% are strange abductions. Like they don't know much of that. That's 6,000, at least 6,000 a year that go missing for no reason.
And I'd like to see what they break down into that category, because a lot of abductions that just can't be explained at all, that they have no evidence of anything, foul play or whatever it might be, whatever they don't have anything better to classify it as. I could see it getting thrown into a strange occurrence, but I don't know of what the criteria is they use for that.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see it, just to see all the breakdowns of it and whatnot. I think something that I find really interesting here is that, to be honest, I've been sitting here searching for more 911 calls in regards to, cryptids and unexplained creatures, and there's not that many. I mean, there's.
I feel like everybody has that thing like in the back of their mind, like if they see something that screwed up, they either A, believe that they're on their own, or they're just too terrified to even contact anybody. Like, cause come on, like I swear, if I saw Dogman outside my door, I'm like, who am I gonna call? The Men in Black? Like,
Well, I think a lot of it could be when people do have possibly an encounter or something like that. Think of where they're going to be out in the middle of the woods, somewhere that doesn't have cell phone reception. You're not going to be able to make a 911 call a lot of times, I wouldn't think.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
so, Lando, that brings me to something we were talking about before that I actually found pretty funny. We were talking about, okay, well, if Bigfoot is grabbing people, right? Or okay, there's the whole big thing of the blurry pictures, right? So me and Tyler got into this discussion, and we landed on this one. Is okay. So whoever out there has a great clear picture of Bigfoot, do you think they're still alive? If nobody's getting a clear picture and Bigfoot really is there, doesn't that mean Bigfoot's really good at getting rid of people?
It could be the biggest serial killer of our known history.
Yeah, we just need to find those iPhones or something like that has the most spot on picture of Bigfoot out in the woods somewhere. Like, there's probably hundreds of pictures of him like floating around on old iPhones that he's like, you didn't move, man. I told you to move. I whooped like 6 times.
I'm gonna try to find you a photo to send, but I will say this as far as blurry photos of Bigfoot. I, I don't care if they were taken in the 70s or right now, whenever Bigfoot first started coming around. I can tell you, as far as law enforcement goes, when we're looking for, somebody that stole a car or burglarized something, almost 99% of the time, the pictures that we get of the highest performing cameras, the best technology we have to locate people, 99% of the time that photo is so blurry you can't make out what kind of vehicle they even stole. So to say that, oh well, Bigfoot's only seen in blurry pictures,
No.
that's true in a lot of things. When you're using security cameras or trail cams or just trying to capture something with a good quality camera while it's moving, it's not an uncommon thing for things to be blurry.
I noticed that myself. I set up a trail cam. We had here on the farm. We had some gigantic bird tracks, just huge three-toed, just dinosaur-looking tracks, right? And by the way, we're pretty sure that the bird in question is a blue herring, a really big, kind of like a kingfisher. But at the time, it was fun to speculate, like, what the hell's out here? We started nicknaming it Bird Squatch. I put a trail cam out, and within 4 or 5 days, we had a whole bunch of blurry pictures and one halfway blurry video of a deer walking past the camera. So it took a lot to get to a good one. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and and that's stuff that you're gonna see, all the time, and finding a picture that shows a good clear picture. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I that was the other thing was, all right, Lando. So supposing you're out in the middle of the woods, right? All of a sudden, this 8-foot tall bipedal, ape man walks out, and you're just standing there, good 30, 40 feet away. He's looking at you. You're looking at him. At what point do you decide to get your camera out of get your phone out and just take the most still perfect picture you've ever taken?
Human beings are not programmed that way. You'd have to seriously train yourself to be able to do that in high stress, fearful situations.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a natural reaction. Even in law enforcement, I've seen over the years lots of people, in a situation where you go to grab your gun, that's the last thing on their mind. It's turning around and getting to safety.
right. Yeah,
And then collecting yourself enough to know that this is what I need to do. And when you're scared and your adrenaline's running, a phone is not on your mind, or a camera's not on your mind.
yeah. I could definitely say that I don't think I would have the. Don't think I'd have the nerve. I really feel like I would fail the Bigfoot community big time if they were dependent on me to get a picture.
Yeah, I mean, even if that's exactly what you set out to do, like you want to go out and get pictures of Bigfoot, when it comes down to it, that's not going to be what's on your mind when you're face to face with it.
Oh yeah, I think I said that in previous episodes. It's like, no matter what, like if you really believe that Sasquatch is real, but you're always going out like thinking like maybe it's not real. Like that's always going to linger in the back of your mind, because like all the things like we have proof, we don't have proof, this and that. You always like, your faith is shaken in the fact that Bigfoot is real, because you've been out here countless times, and then but finally he pops out on you. I don't think you'll ever be ready for that. I don't know how many times you have to look yourself in the mirror every day that you go out. I'm gonna get it. It's like, you're not gonna be ready. You're not gonna be ready.
maybe the people that have trained themselves well enough to do that grabbed their camera and then got taken. Because
That's what you were saying, yeah. I'm just
It-
saying, like, they make the world is just like making it sound like they want this picture to be flawless. Like, they want you, like, you see a Bigfoot, they want you to stake a thing in the ground, put your camera on it, take out a sheet of paper, make sure you get the white balance right. Okay, got it. Focus your camera like this, like, do everything. Maybe spruce up him. Maybe get him, like, makeup come in. Put a little, like, this, like, the light's good. Okay. Say cheese. It's like, we're not going to get that.
More than likely, I'd go to get my phone out, and then I'd, be sitting there trying to swipe the screensaver off, and it's messing up and doesn't want to. God damn
You
it,
get
these things
spam
are worthless. I get spam called, and then somebody tells me that my insurance or my my warranty on my car is up, and all that would happen, and then a couple seconds later, Bigfoot probably would walk over and beat the shit out of me, and I would deserve it too, because I'm dependent on technology, and I'm not prepared, and I wouldn't be ready for a picture. But I wonder about that, because it's a big argument. It's a huge argument out there in regards to this. Is, well, why are the pictures all blurry? Why are all the pictures blurry? Why isn't there any 4K clear video of the Sasquatch? Why don't we have that?
I would almost bet that a full corpse or live being is found before a clear picture's ever taken.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I want to send you another link, Landis. I want you to see what they describe as the Sylvanic Bigfoot. The man who supposedly discovered them, his name is Todd Standing, and I'd just like to get your opinion of the Todd Standing Bigfoot.
Okay.
And I am going to trying to find one here. Just get your reaction. I'd actually like to know your reaction of the man himself, Todd Standing. See what you think of him. And a lot of people have a lot of different opinions of him, so it's pretty it's really interesting to hear what everybody has to say about him. I think I found it. Yeah, here it is. All right, I'm gonna send this over. Give that a look, man. Tell me what you think of that. And I'll find you something of Todd Standing himself. And I'm not by the way, disclaimer, I'm not saying whether or not these are proof videos by any means. I'm just going through the data. And then the next one I put up is Todd Standing himself, just discussing a few things. We'll hear what he has to say.
So, watch that.
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely a mask.
Okay.
The eye movement looks almost robotic. The nostrils don't move when anything takes a breath.
Yeah, the lips is what got me. The lips are just pursed, and they're just locked in a slant, like completely flat line,
Yeah, I think I said the same thing about that, because if you even, like, okay, we're basing these off of, like, primates. If you look at a primate, like, even, like, all primates, like, it just doesn't look natural how all the other primates, like, snout and, like, lips look.
Yeah.
Like there's, like, a certain texture or look to it that, like, it shows like realistic.
All right. You look at an actual, a lowland gorilla, and look at the animation in the face. They're so attentive, and they actually have expression. And then you look at Mr. Standing's, his alleged Bigfoot. Like I said, not trying to disprove anybody or whatever, but it's it's pretty hard to. It's really hard to get behind it.
Yeah, I definitely. That first video, I wouldn't be a believer off that.
Yeah, the movement of the head itself almost looks like it's on a stick or something.
Stick, yeah. That's
You know, I noticed too. Okay, yeah, here's something here, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but I've got the video going. Also, I'm recording what I'm seeing, and yeah, I know you guys can't see it from your point of view, but I could actually. Hang on, I might be able to share my screen. Yeah, I can share my screen. Okay. So, where's that here? Okay, so I'm sharing my screen if you guys want to see what I'm seeing here. And I'm going to go back to Mr. Standing's supposed Bigfoot here and show you something that I noticed a while ago, and if I can find it here. Yeah, there it is. Can you guys see what I'm seeing?
yeah.
Okay, so this one, I think we all agree that that flat line right there is kind of, even the lift of that head just doesn't look like, I don't see any reaction here, right?
And the eyes.
This one right here.
Oh yeah, this one looks weird.
Okay, check this out. So where's the shoulders at?
Mm-hmm.
Why does this neck just go straight down? Why isn't there a big wide shoulder?
And if you actually watch that thing for the while, it does not blink.
It doesn't do anything. See that? See, there's a gigantic area of body missing right here.
Mm-hmm.
But over on this, over on this guy, we've got. Let me back it up a little bit more. Yeah, then there's that. That right there. I just cannot get behind that blink. It's just too robotic.
I mean, and then there's, it's awfully well groomed for, standing in the middle of the woods with that type of hair. You'd think there'd be.
Yeah, it's very matted. Like, it doesn't look.
Or a leaf or some kind of debris somewhere
Right.
on the head.
But right here, there we go. Let me pause that. And you can see we've got a shoulder. Very, very defined shoulder. Even the traps are not quite as big as you'd expect. Because if this was, the actual patty, then you'd be expecting a lot bigger jaw right here. And a large trap muscle to support that. But we're not getting that. We have a real human transition to the shoulder. But it just made me wonder, because on this guy, we've got no shoulder whatsoever. It's almost as if there's a stick down here leaning back and forth.
It still creeps me out that it doesn't blink.
And it doesn't blink whatsoever.
Most dolls don't.
Yeah. So when I see that, this one, I think, as a standalone, I think is really good. Like, if this is a mask and it's made very, very well, but the robotic eyes just can't get behind it.
And that's kind of like you said, you didn't want to, debunk them or say it's not real. To me, that's one of the bigger problems I have is, obviously to me that's fake, and I will tell him that's a fake, and I think there needs to be more of that to get the actual good footage or documentation in front of people.
Well, there's another detail right there too, is that if you look at this, okay, so you got this camera angle, right? We got this camera angle. We got this big stick right here in between us and the camera angle. All right, now over here. Oh, where's that? I think I lost it. I did lose it. Okay. We've changed positions with the camera, but this guy has not moved. He's not reacting. He's not turning and looking. Surely surely he would have noticed you moving.
Yeah, because you can see the camera movement, and anything would get some kind of a give some kind of a reaction.
If that's real, that's the, I guess the, like,
Yeah, 2 different camera angles, and he didn't even move.
he has to be like the slow one of the bunch, because like, come on, he's standing still in like no real big brush or any of that to make it sound like do you really believe that how stealthy these things are? Do you think that he's just like, okay, if I stand still, this is how they taught me, he won't see me? Like, I don't believe that at all. Like, if they know that you're seeing them, they're just going to go on with their business.
Let's bump this. Oh, we can't bump it up. That's another thing. You can't seem to up the quality of these. Yeah, interesting. It moves, the way it moves doesn't really doesn't get me on its side. And that one there,
that one looks like an owl.
It really, look like the lips, the lack of shoulder. Yeah, not real sure, but yeah, that's from one of the, I mean, probably one of the most renowned. I want to say researcher, but I want to say that term very, very, very loosely, I guess. Mr. Todd Standing. There's a lot of different opinions about him. I don't really have one, but I think he's definitely passionate. He's very passionate. He's very suggestive about what he's seeing out there, which makes me wonder. Yeah, definitely interesting. Earlier we were talking about the video from Yellowstone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know Thinker Thunker's been all over this one. And Lando, you actually said this is the one that
Yeah, if there was a video that I've seen that looked authentic to me, it would be that one. Top.
Okay. What about it when you first seen it? Like, what stood out the most to you?
Oh, it's a camera that sets to record all day, every day. They're not, it's from a state park, so it's not going to be tampered with. I think that what really gets me is that camera was placed not to find Bigfoot, and there it is.
We got 4 Bigfoots on screen at the same
it's
time,
there to
hunting them.
watch the
That's a world record.
known animals,
so thank you
document
guys for
stuff
watching,
like that,
and just
in
get
the background,
stick around, and we
see more
will
things
take a
that
closer
shouldn't
look.
be there.
Okay, so first things first. This video is this video.
I think that's as I was saying earlier. I know we weren't recording yet, but that's what Thinker Thunker was going into. He was actually cutting them out of a still image and then pasting them next to the Bigfoot, or the bisons.
Now, of course, he's not really standing right
and
there. He's back here,
basically showing that even when he moved them all the way up next to the bison, even though the bison is closer, those were still bigger.
We can see that, remember,
which,
bison are measured at their shoulders.
I mean, depth perception in the human eye is one thing, but a camera,
6.6
depth
feet
perception
at their shoulders, I believe.
it's kind of
The hump is
fixed.
even taller. So just suffice it to say, that's
There's
one
really no way
really
to,
big guy.
I mean, other than digital,
And something completely bizarre
digitally
about him
editing
is
it,
he
there's really
has
no way to
non-human body
full
ratio.
depth perception in
And
a
you can easily
still
tell
camera
that
like
by
this,
looking
or
at
a
his arm,
stationary camera.
which is almost as long
But
as
the
his
thing
leg,
about this video that's creeping me
whereas
out the
your
most
arms
is
are
the cadence of the different walking patterns. The very first one that goes walking out looks to me like it has some kind of limp,
50% shorter.
And I almost
than your
get
legs,
I
just
know
like
I might
mine,
be reaching, I
just
might be
like
grasping on
every
this one,
other
but it
human
almost
on
to
the
me looks
planet,
like
male or
one
female,
trying
we all
to get
have
away
pretty
from
much,
the others.
plus or minus small
They look
degrees,
real
the same
nonchalant,
body
like they're
ratios.
just
So
they're
that
just
makes
walking.
This guy
And then
one of, if
I
not
don't
the
know
rarest
if,
human
I don't know
on
if
the
you guys are
planet.
still watching my screen or not,
And
but
again-
there's another detail that I picked out that I'm trying to pause it at, if I can get it. Yeah, there it is, right there. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
The length of that arm,
Yeah, that's huge.
as opposed to what I'm trying
And
to
keep in
trying to
mind,
make a
he's really
guess
much
here that
bigger
this
than him.
is
Across the
all leg
bridge
or
and
maybe
back
some
this way
waist and leg,
is
but the
tall,
size of that arm
incredibly
right there is
big.
the thing that's jumping out at
And
me
there's
big
something
time.
else about him.
The
Well, for
proportions
one,
seem a little
he's
off
either incre-
to be
could
a
get
normal
back
man.
to him in, I'm guessing, about 4 to
And then
6
they kinda
seconds.
just
And at that point, he would truly be in a
Stop
world of
right
hurt.
there, and this one here
Okay,
that
now I'm
looks
going
like
to
he's got a
scrub
limp, keeps
through
on
and
going.
try to
But
find
that arm,
where we get our first glimpse.
And there
at
there
our
could be a
genetic
lot of
friends. Never,
a reasons
ever
why that one would
see
walk
the guys who
different.
pulled off the
I mean,
hoax
it could be a
come
different gender, it could be younger, more playful. I mean, there's no end to the
Or
possibilities on why it would
years
walk
later
differently than
and
the others.
brag
Yeah.
and tell how they did it and show
But do you see it?
behind-the-scenes
I mean, do you see
footage
the actual
or
difference in the
anything
way it
like
walks?
that ever.
It's
We never see the
pretty wild.
monkey suits.
Oh yeah, it could be a
Anyway,
injury or,
you weigh
like you
in
said, it
and
could
let me
be
know what you think.
trying to avoid the other ones.
And please,
There's
Almost
so
later.
many
and or
possibilities
are we
for it.
glimpsing
The first
some
thing that I thought when I
ancient
looked at
scene
it was
that's
like,
been
what is it?
going on
Is it
for
holding
thousands
is it
and
holding a baby or
thousands of
something?
years.
You know, like what's it
prosecution
doing?
by
Why
a
is it?
national
It has
park
one
might
arm
not
that
think
isn't swinging either. Did you
Tampering,
notice that?
teasing with
Yeah,
a
you could-
rare buffalo herd is very
You know,
funny.
for a group like that, it
Or
could definitely be
are we
a family unit.
glimpsing
Just
some
Yeah.
going back
ancient
home
scene
after
that's been
foraging
going
or
on for
just trying to find
thousands
another
and
warm place to
thousands.
stay. I'd say with what looks like pretty good wind going in the background from snow or fog moving, you know, they might just be trying to find a warmer place to move to.
Yeah. That's wild. It is definitely a great video. Makes you wonder. It is walking around. I mean, do they even allow people to walk out there by the bison? I mean,
I wouldn't think so.
No, the way that Thinker Thunker was saying, he was saying that this is like a rare buffalo herd or something of that, and it's actually a crime to mess with them.
Really?
It's because it's like a national park. You're not like, you could be in danger, like put yourself in danger, just being like like doing that kind of stuff. So
And with the, you know, what was there, 4 or 5 of them walking around, and the buffalo didn't react, or the bison didn't react.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that they probably knew they were there and are used to seeing them. So it's
Yeah, I actually had the video playing on high speed.
yeah, it looked like they were
They were moving pretty quick.
Yeah.
I didn't really mean to do that. See if I can get back into this a little bit. Yeah.
see just that distance there. If bison or anything like, you know, cattle that you see on any farm, they would have probably looked up and
Yeah.
at least checked them out. But you
Yeah,
don't see that.
They don't react at all.
well, like you were saying, like the wind. So like the wind's probably gusting pretty good right there, because all the snow moving around.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
there might be like just too much wind noise.
There, now we got it in slow motion here. I don't know if any other details will pop up because of this, but at least we could see it how I was hoping to see it before, but I set the speed wrong. Before I was wondering, I was like, damn, they're really hauling ass through there.
They're on a mission.
Yeah, you can see, look at the arms on that guy. Holy crap.
Well, the one thing is too is like, okay, it seems like towards towards the last person that you're talking, like last person.
Yeah.
Last
It's the only one
creature.
that I get a clear, like, well, I can't say clear, but
that tree is very, like, not that big, like, and they already went behind it, and then like, I don't know. That's
you
the
see
one
come out, and then the others don't. That was
Yeah.
the other thing that bothered me was, where the hell are they going? Yeah, look at that. You can see the full swing of that arm. That's crazy. I mean, come on, man. When's the last time you went walking like that?
In deep snow in Yellowstone,
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'd be frozen. I mean, look, I wonder how far they had to go out to walk to get to where they would be if it was a person in a costume.
I mean,
even
even if you're running around in a costume, are you gonna be running this easily through?
I think that would make it even harder to go through that snow. If you look, it looks like it almost goes halfway up the calf of their legs.
And then look how long the leg is, even with that going on. That I mean, just on a glance, that looks. I mean, that looks abnormal to me. But I'm not an expert in this. You know, I'm definitely not an anatomy expert, but it just looks odd.
Look at from where the knee bends to where the foot ends. That's just a huge leg.
Yeah, that's wild. It looks like it's carrying something.
I'm still kind of worried about where are the other ones. That tree is not that big.
You can see one still moving in the back.
Why did they stop? What did they stop for?
They changed directions, but this one kept going. That's weird. Everything about this video is just strange to me.
Oh, and that's part of, an unknown behavior to an unknown animal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what they're doing could seem completely normal to them, and we would have no frame of reference to judge it off of.
Yeah. We don't really have anything there that we can even, yeah. I look up here on the right, in my search bar, you can actually see the Thinker Thunker where he cut one out and pasted it next to the bison. I mean, look at that. Even at that distance, I mean, that's big. I'm not actually sure how big a bison is. Like, how tall is a bison?
He said they go off the shoulders. It's like 5 foot to 6 foot. Oh.
This here we got
8.
Oh well, we're looking at American bison, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's extinct, isn't it? That looks extinct.
I mean, some of them can be up to 8 feet tall. It's saying.
Yeah, 6.
American bison says largest mammal in North America, 2,000 pounds, 6 feet tall. I guess that's the average. I don't know. A buffalo is about 79 inches to 138 inches, 660 to 2,200 pounds. So it's pretty good size.
It's definitely not something that 4 or 5 people walking around the woods are going to dwarf on a regular basis.
Yeah. I mean, there's the animal right there we're looking at. That's a big old dude.
And the picture that he's showing, looks like it at least goes over a foot, maybe 2, maybe like 1.5 from the back. So, man, even with that, like that's like that would have to be. That would actually. What would you think from pulling it from from back of the image to pulling it up front, and it's showing that it's at least 2 more foot taller than the bison itself, and they say on average it grows to about 6 feet on a bison.
Yeah, that's it says the average is like 6 to 6.5 feet.
So wow,
So
that would have to be like what
judging
like
from that.
9?
Yeah, I mean I'd say yeah. I mean at least 2 feet taller. And being that far back, I mean...
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that far back, and then putting that image up there, it's still taller than what it's up front, like, pulled forward. And we're not getting the actual full... This thing literally could probably, like, the top of the buffalo or the bison, like, whatever you call it, could probably come up to its chest. Or, like, mid like, a little up above on the top of the stomach.
Wonder if like 3 or 4 of them big dudes get together, go ahead and take a buffalo down, you know. Like, hey man, we're sick of deer, you know, let's just go get one of them.
Well, that's another thing too. It's like, yeah, they eat meat, they eat deer. Like, what's stopping them from eating one of these buffalo? Have they maybe? That's the reason why they didn't want to tango with one. That's the reason why that one was limping.
I was gonna say maybe they were. Maybe what we're seeing is like a walk of shame. They're on their way back. They're like, dude, that was a terrible idea, Todd. He's like, shut up.
Shut up, Richard.
Shut up, Richard. And he's just holding his arm like, I'm going back to the, I guess the underground cave system. I don't know. Hey, are there any big caves in Yellowstone? Do we know that?
I don't know.
That would be let's find out. Let's see if there is. I wonder. Oh, the Lewis and Clark Caverns. Okay, yeah, apparently there's a few. This one says Natural Trap Cave. Located in the federal land of Bighorn Mountains. Kind of skipping through here a little bit. Used by the Native Americans dating back 9,000 years. Huh. It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild. What do you think, Lando? Should we go to Yellowstone and try to find a Bigfoot, or?
I'm up for
it. We gotta get us a clear picture.
Probably not.
So Tyler actually has a pretty interesting story. Something that happened to him a while back. How old were you, Tyler?
I want to say about 11 or 12.
11 or 12. We just had this discussion in the truck the other day, and when he first told it to me, I won't deny a little bit of the hair on the back of my neck stood up, because like when he was telling it, I'll let him say what happened, but when he told me, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that's what you saw. You wanna tell it?
Okay, we're gonna have to edit this out. I actually did tell Landis before we
okay,
before we started. Did you want to put this on this episode, or are we just gonna add?
It's gonna be broken up anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to do that, but okay, we can. Okay, I guess so. Let me. Brown cow. Blah, blah, blah.
Brown bison.
Brown bison.
There you go. Brown Bigfoot bison. Bathes in the backyard.
Bathes in the backyard. Alligator chewing gum. Mom. Stepbrother, what are you doing?
Landis didn't laugh at that one. I don't.
Is this normal?
Yeah, man, it's totally fine.
Okay.
Do this all the time.
So yeah, I was 11 or 12. I live in a suburb, kind of surrounded by a couple farm areas and some open land too. As when I was a kid, the trails are still back there, but there's a little open lot, like it's a couple like a decent amount of acreage back there that are open up. There's a little pond back there and stuff. But we go back there. We ride bikes all the time. Just chill back there, run the trails. But one day I went there back by myself, and I was walking around, just walking the trails, and then I go to the back, down this little area. I'm following the trail still, and there's kind of like this big little mound of dirt. It's kind of like, I guess over time we kind of made it into like, it's like kind of a hill, like a hill. We used to jump our bikes off of. But I'm coming up this little hill, and I don't know, like, I was kind of caught off guard. I saw a black bear. So I was like, I'm in shock. Like, I was like, so I just remember I back up and I get out of there, but I just remember, like, the bear kind of looking around. Like, it never acknowledged me at all, and it just looked like it was looking for something else. Like, it was on hot pursuit for something else. I don't know what it was, but I know I told a couple people, but they always just told me, like, there's no black bears. There's no black bears. But I'm positive that I saw a black bear. But, like, there was no reports of any black bears that I know of. I was 12 years old, so I wasn't really Googling this stuff. So I just remember that I saw a black bear. But now telling this story, I just chalked it up as a black bear, but telling this story to Denny, he kind of has a little different idea that it might be something different other than a black bear, because there's no black bears in our area.
Yeah, when he tells me the story, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, just recently I came across, I'm trying to find it right now actually, I came across a story, someone in Alexandria, Kentucky, near the same area, they described it as one of the larger suburban areas in northern Kentucky, saw an unexplained creature, nearby. And Tyler tells me that story, and I'm sitting there like, wow, that's the second time I've heard something like this. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I started telling him, I'm like, yeah, there's apparently either a Bigfoot or a Dogman sighting in this same area, and it's one of the things we've come across a lot with the Dogman is that people always assume it's a black bear first, but it usually stands up on its hind legs, and that's when they realize that what they're looking at is not that at all.
It never stood up.
Yeah. I mean, no one. I feel like we'd be having a much different conversation right now if it had.
I think I'd probably end up being in a mental institution. Just saying.
But the interesting part is the area that is in. There's been nothing, no reports of any kind of bear in that area ever. But there has been a couple reports of unknown cryptids around that same area, and I found that very, very interesting. I mean, so interesting. We're actually thinking about taking a GoPro and going and checking the site out where he had this encounter. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get eaten.
Well, I guess if we do, we don't upload any more after this.
Yeah.
You at least know what happened, and you guys can chalk it up from there. You can either say it's a conspiracy and whatnot of that, but it's probably Dogman or Sasquatch.
Well, Lando, we appreciate you jumping on here and giving us your opinions, man. Very, very, very appreciative. Hell yeah, man. I definitely, man, honestly, just getting you in here to even just kind of debunk that 911 call a little bit, that was absolutely awesome and definitely valued, because it helps us. It's helping us narrow things down, you know?
Yeah, because with this like pattern that we've been trying to go with I'm helping Denny. It's hard to justify a lot of these sightings and stuff, like, because there are people out there making up false claims. You never know. And actually, I never even thought of this when he kind of brought the whole 911 call up, and when you started just like that, like cutting it out of like the procedures that they were supposed to do and stuff, that helps us so much, because now that shows that sighting as it's more of a hoax than anything. So I appreciate, that was awesome that you came in the clutch, man.
Yeah, it's no problem. Anytime that I can be of a help, I'm glad to be here.
Oh yeah, man. Definitely. I would definitely like to get you back on here, man, and have you kind of look over things and see what you think, you know?
Oh yeah, and keep on, I know you're chief of police now, so you're not
very busy man.
You're a very busy man.
Guy.
But any of your dispatchers, if they get any weird calls about some crazy, some hairy creature, lock that down. We need that.
Oh yeah,
let us know. Man.
Let us know, man. That'd be awesome.
And like you said, in Missouri, there's not a whole lot boarded here. I think a lot of that's just the geographics of the state.
No, but hey, I mean, stuff can happen. You know, we don't know. If it does, though, I know you'll be all over it.
Oh yeah.
But we definitely appreciate you being on, man, and everybody listening. As usual, thank you, and we really appreciate the crazy number of subscribers that we've been noticing, and even more crazy amount of downloads this podcast has been getting. I know we say this almost every time, but very humbled by it. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying, and we're going to keep on going with more. If you've had an encounter and you want to talk to us about it, encounters@kyxfiles.com. You know the drill. So we will see you next time.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe.